When some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Government. Yes. So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF from Congole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
politicians. I think politicians
and then that's why I broke it. That's why I broke it. Yes.
Switch.
Yeah, that's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Yeah. Kaya, 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 uko. Uko kumunzi, kaya nabana bali bwanji. Uko kumunzi, I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. Oh oh, kaya 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 uko. Yeah, kaya 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 uko. But I pray you still have your Bible. But I pray you still have your Bible. Uko kumunzi, kaya nabana bali bwanji. Uko kumunzi, I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. Oh oh, kaya 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 uko. Yeah, kaya 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 uko. But I pray you still.
Alright, good evening and welcome to the Big Picture. Tonight on the Big Picture, I'm your host Derek Daka, and I welcome you to this program today. So refreshing and also giving you the best of news and also current affairs that we'll be talking about on this show, right? And to begin with, we have so many headlines that we'll be looking at, and also looking at the meeting of the ZCID and the Political Alliance today, that we've been informed that they're meeting and also trying to resolve the issues that are going on with political parties and also the church. And also later on we'll be looking at the community and also the human rights report that is confirming the death of Vespa Simuzila, a UNZA student who died because of suffocation, and we'll be looking at that, and later on we'll just receive your calls and also discuss about the by-election that will be taking place in Bahati due to following the resignation of Mr. Ari Kalaba accepting to go now and also stand as a presidential candidate for his party, right? We continue with that when we get from this break. Enjoy, and we'll be back soon.
I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. Oh oh, kaya 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 kaya. Yeah, kaya 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 uko.
Welcome to the Big Picture. I'm your host Derek Daka.
So at the moment, nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu cha mana chimamveka bwino bwino, but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best, because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months, we are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia, and that is why when you go southern province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjana.
Okay.
When some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Government.
Yes.
So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF from Congole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
politicians.
I think
politicians
and then that's why I broke it. That's why I broke it. Yes.
Switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Yeah, kaya
welcome to the big picture. I'm your host, Derek Daka.
So at the moment nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. And that is why when you go to southern province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjala.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Okay.
Government.
Yes.
So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF Nkongole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
Politicians,
sovereign
I think politicians
and then
are
that's why I
safe,
broke
are
it.
safe.
That's why I
Because
broke it.
politicians, they
Yes.
switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Yeah. Kaya, 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 uko. Yeah. Kaya, 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 uko.
Welcome to the big picture. I'm your host, Derek Daka.
So at the moment nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. And that is why when you go to southern province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjala.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Okay.
Government.
Yes.
So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF Nkongole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
Politicians,
sovereign
I think politicians
and then
are
that's why I
safe,
broke
are
it.
safe.
That's why I
Because
broke it.
politicians, they
Yes.
switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Kaya nabana bali bwanji, unko kumunzi. I've been trying to reach you, but you couldn't be network. I've been trying to reach you, but you couldn't be network. Oh oh, kaya 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 kaya.
All right, welcome back on the big picture, and we're looking at different stories tonight. Right, we just have a story that is already running there, and the human rights report telling to say this issue, the suffocation of the University of Zambia student, that the passing of Festus Simuzila was due to suffocation. And also we continue going down the story. Government builds a new Kanyama police post and 34 house units for police officers. We're now proud as police officers in Kanyama, or officers in Kanyama constituency of Lusaka, as 6 police posts, a total of 136 officers distributed among the 6 police posts, namely Kanyama Main Police, Mosque Road Police, Los Angeles Police, Plainview Police Post, John Lane Police, and Garden House Police. The construction of the new Kanyama Main Police Post has reached an advanced stage, coming with its 34 housing units, which are completed, already occupied by police officers. Identified police officer expressed sincere gratitude to government. The construction of the houses, she reviewed that the houses have 4 bedrooms, and which the master bedroom itself, it's a self-contains. She further said there is a public shower with a bathtub and a toilet inside. There are 2 cupboard at the living room and in the kitchen. Another unidentified police officer proudly said the houses are great motivation to the police officers before they used to stay in small houses. Many police officers preferred renting somewhere else than living in the small houses without proper security and an area where criminal levels are high. These houses are decent and makes us proud officers in Kanyama, she said. And she also said the selection of who should occupy the houses was good and done in a very transparent manner. All officers from various police posts in Kanyama were told to pick, or were told to apply for priority, and preference occupants were those who are hardworking regardless of the police post where they are from. In the quest appreciation works by government, the officers appealed to the government to continue with infrastructure development in all sectors of the country and Kanyama at large. The government is doing its part, and it's up to us to take care of this property, public property. It seems as a country we like ownership of government property. I think our leaders must help the mindset of citizens in any way they can through sensitization. This is good, and let government continue without listening critics, and let's the government do its best to supply and also support the people, right? That's a story coming from Kanyama, and we're talking about this, and our question is, will Mr. Harry Kalaba make it as a solo politician or not? And this is a question that is coming all over on social media. So Mr. Kalaba is today expected also to address a press briefing at his house. So Mr. Kalaba was actually in the morning acknowledging the appreciations from different people, and also talking about his resignation as a patriotic front member of parliament in Bahati constituency. Mr. Kalaba further said that he's ready now to stand as a president, and also is ready to make sure that the people of Zambia are supported. And there's so many headlines that reached the social media and also different platforms. So we are looking at this today. What is your say? What is your view about Mr. Kalaba's resignation over his conduct from the patriotic front? Will Mr. Kalaba make it as a single politician as a party, or will Mr. Kalaba need to join a certain party for him to make it right? We have that picture of Mr. Kalaba, known as a Christian, and also known to be one of the people who upheld the Christian values. So Mr. Kalaba was a former minister of foreign affairs in the Patriotic Front, and that's a Democratic Party, and is talking about this. But so we have a clip, and let's hear from that first of all.
The Democratic Party, DP, is anchored on a Bible verse of Isaiah chapter 22, verse 22, and its symbol is a key. Former diplomat Harry Kalaba on Wednesday finally took the bold step of stepping down as Bahati Member of Parliament amid a huge turnout of his supporters who filled the Intercontinental Hotel Makumbi Hall to the brims.
The responsible leadership would have avoided the Bahati by-election, as elections an added cost to the already struggling economy. Yes. Unfortunately, the leadership doesn't care about prudent utilization of the people's resources. I will not participate in the Bahati by-election. I will also be taking up today the party president position of the Democratic Party.
Earlier, Mr. Kalaba alleged that the PF has proven to be a party of intolerance, self-saving and enrichment, condones corruption and theft by those in position of trust and responsibility. And why did he have to wait to relinquish his position until now?
I'll tell you that if you ask Honorable Chavija with MP for Chipidi, he will tell you that when I wrote my resignation letter as Foreign Minister last year, I had also written a letter to resign as Member of Parliament. But Honorable Chavi and Honorable Kasonga, I saw him somewhere here. Honorable Kasonga is there. He will tell you, he presided over me and told me, you can't resign Bahati. And together with several chiefs from Wapula province, they told me don't resign. And of course, the people of Bahati have come. They said don't resign because we elected you for 5 years. Now, let them just chase you. When they chase you, then you will know where we stand.
He has highlighted what he terms as catastrophic large numbers of unemployed youths and women trying to make ends meet on the streets without capital. He says he has left the PF with jubilation in his heart. He prays that the PF leadership will heed the cry of the suffering masses and begin to safeguard people's resources for collective national prosperity and posterity. Forfeiting his gratuity is nothing compared to being on the side of the people, according to Mr. Harry Kalava.
Myself from Diamond TV is saying you have forfeited your gratuity. You will recall, I think on several occasions I have said, yes, there are only 5 months before the gratuity comes in, kicks in. And the easiest way for me would have been to put up an injunction, wait for the gratuity, get the money, and then resign. That is not me.
Tito Kalama, reporting for Live TV.
All right, welcome back again. That is Mr. Harry Kalaba talking about, his move on from, the Patriotic Front from the time that he was given the position and also served in different portfolios in the PF government, and now is going to do his own as a politician and also running a political party which is called it's a DP, right? And Democratic Party, the party that is running now, and looking at that, is made it clear to say is ready to serve and also to serve the people of Zambia, right? We have a story. It's not last, but we have a story that has been trending on social media and also going on and forth, which is coming from the Patriotic Front and Prime TV, right? This is the letter that was copied in Prime Television to the PF Secretary, the PF Secretary General, barring of Prime TV from covering the PF functions and chasing of journalists, Prime TV journalists. The above caption subject refers, it is with heavy heart and we write to your office on a matter which you publicly chased Prime TV journalists from your press conference on Saturday 26th of January 2019 on a later on decisively barred Prime Television from covering all your party functions. A broadcast institution registered to operate independently under the laws of Zambia. We found the idea to chase our journalists and the decision or submission to bar Prime TV from covering the OPF functions is unfortunate. Given our party position as Secretary General and knowing that you come from the ruling party which should lead by example by following the law, it is sad you opted to ignore the Independent Broadcasting Authority (IBA) complaints procedure, which requires that you tender a formal complaint to a broadcaster institution, which complaint is supposed to be addressed within 14 days, upon which you are free to bring it to the attention of IBA after 14 days, where you feel that the broadcast institution has failed to adequately address your complaint. The above procedure is a requirement of all those who feel aggrieved on matter of broadcasting. Unfortunately, you have opted to use a more unprocedural way of which you decide to bar and also to have a subject on this matter, right? This happened on Saturday, where a Prime TV journalist was chased away from a press briefing that was organized by the PF, and this saw a lot of concern by so many institutions in Zambia, such as MISA, which was Mr. plans today to meet with the Patriotic Front SG and also talk to him over the same case, right? We have this report coming from Esther, and it's a review of what transpired on Saturday. We'll be back after this short clip.
Journalists are a most important figure in every nation, but the story is different in Zambia, as journalists are being subjected to harassment and humiliation by political parties. The country has on several occasions witnessed cadres from various political parties harassing journalists. This time around, it is not party cadres but ruling Patriotic Front PF Secretary General Davis Mwila. Mr. Mwila on Saturday chased Prime Television journalists on an argument that the station does not cover PF events.
They can leave. I don't mind. I run this institution, and when I make a decision, it's fine. You're not supposed to be here. When I do the press briefing, you're not supposed to come here. That's a decision I made. They don't cover us. Chap, you can leave. I've made a decision, they can leave. Chap.
However, Mr. Mwila's action has not set well with Zambia Institute of Independent Media Alliance, ZIMA, who feel Mr. Mwila must apologize to the two journalists. And opposition patriots for economic progress, PEP leader Sean Tembo, says the PF is expected to deal with all citizens in a mature manner.
Yesterday, we condemn this in the strongest terms possible, because as a ruling party, the PF was supposed to conduct themselves in a courteous and mature manner towards the public. And the conduct of Honorable Mwila falls far below that expected threshold. It must be noted that the press are a key part of our society, and as independent press, they have a decision to report in a manner they deem fit. Not each and every media house can be expected to report in the manner that ZNBC or Daily Mail or Times reports, always in favor of the PF.
With the continued harassment of journalists by both politicians and political cadres in the country, the cry for the media in Zambia is to have a press freedom reforms. Chisola Esther, Lusaka.
All right, following, the resignation of I wanted to say Ron, but the resignation of Bati constituency member of parliament, Mr. Ari Kalaba, now president of DP party, right? And now United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, UPPZ President Charles Chanda says that his party will contest the party parliamentary seat following the expulsion of Ari Kalaba from the party. Mr. Chanda has emphasized that UPPZ does not want to go for 2021 general election unprepared. I wish to inform the public that as UPPZ will definitely be contesting that Bahati seat, and we are doing so in order for us to prepare for the 2021 general election. Mr. Chanda said the UPPZ therefore reiterated his party's commitment to participate in any election to feel the impact of its existence. The Constitution Amendment Act of 2016 states that the office of the Member of Parliament becomes vacant if one expelled from the political party which sponsored the member for election to the National Assembly. And this is Mr. Charles Chanda, president of the UPP, who said that they are ready and they are preparing themselves for 2021. Right, we are looking at the story of Mr. Ari Kalaba, his resignation, and also followed by the expulsion from the PF. Is it going to follow now the other member of parliament who is a consultant, right? And also those are the questions that are rising from the public, and not forgetting that we still have different stories that are coming on MISA to meet the PFSG, and they met today in Lusaka. Patriotic Front General Secretary has met with MISA Zambia at the party secretariat this morning. They met in the morning today on Tuesday to discuss concerns around the ruling party's relationship with Prime TV. This follows Honorable Mwila's protest against the Prime TV bias reporting against the ruling party, which led him asking personnel from the television to excuse themselves from the press briefing. The meeting was honest and fruitful. MISA Zambia will continue engaging both the ruling party and Prime TV in order to find common ground in accordance with the PF manifesto. Our party manifesto will continue to build upon its record as a champion of vibrant media, as evidenced by the operation of the Independent Broadcasting Authority (IBA) in 2013, which had remained inoperable since 2002, and the issuance of broadcasting licenses to establish radio and television across Zambia to more than 52 radio stations and 32 television licenses, including Prime TV. PF to continue to respect the media and the role it plays in our democracy as the fourth state. And this was released today by the media director Sunday Chanda of the Patriotic Front. Right, we are still going on, and with this we are looking at the story that everyone is still looking forward to see Mr. Ari Kalaba and his party, and also people are asking so many questions. Will Mr. Kalaba make it to 2021, or is also going to join any or doing any alliance with any political party? That's a question mark. So if you have any view, you can still text to the number that is on the screen, 0972108588, or still you can rather contact us through Facebook. We are still live, and also you can rather call and we can talk to you directly, right? And also Comrade Derek Sinjela, a journalist. Greetings to you all, my fellow journalists, and my name's Fabian Miguamanda, a reporter, and with a reference to the above caption, I wish to add my voice on the issue of our jailed colleague Derek Sinjela, the editor of Rainbow newspapers, so that he can be pardoned by our Republican president. Moreover, since Comrade Derek Sinjela was sentenced to 12-month imprisonment on 20th of December after he appealed guilty to a charge of contempt of court, I have seen my fellow journalists, media organization, and other interested group asking the president to pardon our colleague, in which a great awesome, because we are all affected. However, a pardon is provided for under section 277 subsection B of the Criminal Procedure Code, chapter 88 of the law of Zambia. A pardon, just like defense of actual acquit ultra force convict, it is a special plea in bar. Additionally, a pardon is granted by the president under prerogative of mercy to any person convicted of an offense. The president may be free or subject to some lawful condition, and a pardon must be in writing. Dear colleague, writing a letter to the head of state to pardon our comrade, it's good, but himself writing a letter to the president, it's more valuable, so that he states his reasons why he need to be pardoned. One, this is very vital and cardinal in its burden of proving a special plea in bar lies on the convicted person, and the convicted person in this case is our colleague Comrade Sinjela. Furthermore, as to write a letter to the president so that he can be pardoned, why Sinjela carry on wait because himself don't want to be pardoned, right? This is a question that comes from a journalist who is asking also the media to say, let's write a letter to the president so that our comrade can be pardoned, right? We are still moving with the show. You can send your text messages to the number that is on the screen, and you is watching us from within Lusaka. You have so many questions about your area, you have so many questions about maybe your neighborhood. You can send your text messages and we'll be able to talk about those issues. The Big Picture comes every Tuesday and Thursday, and we look at the different stories affecting you in the community and not political. We'll be back after this short commercial break. Welcome to the Big Picture. I'm your host, Derek Daka.
So at the moment, nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino, but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best, because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. And that is why when you go south the province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjala.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Okay. Government. Yes. So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF in Congole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
politicians.
I think politicians and then that's why I broke it. That's why I broke it. Yes.
Switch.
Yeah. That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
What would cause someone to go out of his home setup and have sex with another person?
Morality can break a marriage. Sexual immorality can be a marriage breaker because there's a tendency of the trust disappearing.
The short period that we have to teach young ones before they get married, to teach them on how to live in a marriage. Because there are some people that get married because my friend is married, because all my age mates are married. They go into a marriage for wrong reasons. And then when they get into that marriage, they find, oh, is this what I was looking for?
2 is company. 3 is a crowd. We should not allow the third person to come in. How? By sitting down and talking. Let's discuss our differences. Where did I go wrong? And we learn to say sorry.
Natuseke stand-up comedy show. And remember, this is a show where we cast aside all formality.
trying to reach you, but it only been network. I've been trying to reach you, but it only been network. Oh oh, kaya 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 uko. Yeah yeah, na bali bwanji, unko kumunzi.
All right, welcome back on the big picture. To those who are following us on social media on Facebook, we ask you to still comment on that video, and we'll be able to respond to you. And those who are following us through TV, you can still send your text messages. The program is the big picture, and we look about different stories that are affecting people in the community, and also social and current affairs. Right now, we move on with the story. And someone is asking about the Ngwenya Dam, saying, is the Ngwenya Dam still available for the people of Zambia to cultivate the waters in Ngwenya Dam? That's another story that we'll look at, and we still move on with the big picture. Right, we had, last week, we had a funeral that was something that was a national mourning, and that was given to the former Republican Vice President Dr. Lupando Mwape, right? And he was described in so many ways, looking at his services that were rendered to this country, Zambia. Mr. Lupando Mwape served under the tenure of Mr. Patrick Mwanawasa Levi Mwanawasa, the president, the late president, and Mr. Lupando Mwape served, with his focus. That's how he was also referred by President Edgar Lungu. So we have this clip before we move further with the show that you may see, and also if you missed, we'll be back after this short clip.
A dark cloud has once again fallen on Zambia as thousands of mourners gathered at the Cathedral of the Child Jesus to pay their last respect to the late Vice President under the leadership of President Patrick Mwanawasa Lupando Mwape. Mr. Mwape was born in the northern province of Zambia on 15 July 1950. He hails from a very poor and simple background. Mr. Mwape started his political career in September 2000 when he was elected Member of Parliament for Lukasha. In May 2001, the late Mwape, who served as Vice President from 2004 to 2006, has been described by many political party leaders as a gallant soldier and someone who had a heart for the people.
He was obviously willing to do several things for the good of others. We can learn from there, and to say really the least is to indicate from my view that his good works will outlive him.
Mr. Mwape died on Monday in South Africa after an illness. He is survived by a wife, 6 children and 6 grandchildren. The former Vice President has finally been put to rest today at Memorial Park. Chisola Esther, Lusaka.
All right, and that was a story coming from Esther Chisola, and looking at the life of the former Vice President of Zambia, Mr. Lupando Mwape. May you so rest in peace. For the Forum for Democracy Alternatives Secretary General Howard Banda has advised the new Congress Party leader Peter Chanda to respect clergy men spreading the dialogue process and not to be driven by his appetite to satisfy his belly, right? And this comes from the Forum for Democracy Forum for Democracy Secretary General Howard Banda has advised the Congress Party to respect the clergymen, according to the saying of him, telling people to say the church is not ready to bolster or to urge that dialogue process. Opposition leader leader for this party, National Democratic Congress leader Chimba Kambuli, has cautioned Zambians against making electoral decisions based on likes of Ifintu, and also says it will work for them if they don't believe. Right, we still move on with the stories that we have. The FIFA appeal committee has partially upheld the appeal lodged by Kalusha Bwalia for the former president of the Football Association of Zambia and member of the executive committee of the Confederation of African Football, CAF. The FIFA appeal committee has upheld that decision, and that raised a lot of concerns by so many Zambians looking at them lifting the ban on him, and so many people were talking about it and also congratulating him, and also looking at the fans having a meeting that will accept even those who were banned from attending different meetings by the fans, and also attending different functions for the fans will be allowed to attend. So the story is here, and that's the picture we have for Mr. Kalusha Bwalia. The FIFA appeal committee has partially upheld the appeal lodged by Kalusha Bwalia, the former president of the Association of Zambia and member of the committee Confederation of Football. In August last year, the Adjudicatory Chamber of Independent Ethics Committee banned Kalusha Bwalia for 2 years from all football related activities, administrative sports or any other at both national and international level. However, FIFA has reduced the sanction previously imposed by the Chamber of Ethics Committee in its decision 12 April 2018, after analyzing and taking into consideration all circumstances of the case. The FIFA Appeal Committee decided to reduce the duration of the ban from taking part in any way of football activity imposed on Kalusha Bwalia, the period already served at the time of notification of the present decision, according to a statement. As a consequence to the ban imposed on Mr. Bwalia ended upon notification of the decision of the FIFA committee appeal. Furthermore, a fine of 1,000 has been imposed on Mr. Bwalia, and the statement still go on. The decision of appeal was notified to Mr. Kalusha Bwalia and came into force immediately. Right, so that is a story that is coming from FIFA, and lifting such a burden on someone who comes as a social and also economic giant such as Mr. Kalusha Bwalia, who was banned not to attend any political sports or any other activity related to the sports activities. Right, we still move on with the show, and for now we are going to talk about the same issue that is going on about Mr. Harry Kalaba and also his party. Right, looking at this, people are still asking him to say, are you going to make it or not? Because if you have any view, you can still send it to the number that is on the screen, 0972 1085 88. That's the number that we have, and you can send your messages to that. Right, and we have this message that reads, people of Zambia, Kalaba is just power angry. What PF has not done, Kalaba, let's not be cheated by Harry Kalaba. This is a message that is coming from a viewer. Please, you can send your name and where you're sending this message from, and we'll read it again. People of Zambia, Kalaba is just power angry. What PF has not done, Kalaba, Kalaba parts, let's not be cheated by Kalaba. That's the message that is coming from a viewer, and there's no location mentioned on that text messages. We still move on with the show, and for now we're going on a very short commercial break, and when we get back we'll be concluding and also giving the remarks on the stories that we've spoken about. We'll be back soon. Welcome to the big picture. I'm your host, Derek Daka.
So at the moment, nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. That is why when you go southern province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjala.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Government. Yes. So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It's not a PF Nkongole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign.
But politicians,
sovereign
I think politicians
and then that's
are
why I
safer,
broke
are
it.
safe.
That's why I broke it.
Politicians, they
Yes.
switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Yeah. Kaya, 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 uko. Kaya nabana bali bwanji unko kumunzi. I've been trying to reach you but it couldn't be network. I've been trying to reach you but it couldn't be network. Oh oh. Kaya 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 uko. Yeah yeah. Kaya 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 uko. But I pray you still have your Bible. But I pray you still have your Bible. Uko kumunzi, kaya nabana bali bwanji. Uko kumunzi.
All right, welcome back on the big picture, and we're still talking about issues affecting the community and also Zambia at large. Right, I'm your host Derek Daka, and the program is still going on, and so many stories are being spoken about, especially looking about the expulsion of Mr. Harry Kalaba from the PF and also him resigning. Right, we're trying to to measure those two things, looking at the expulsion that came before and also his resignation, which leads into two stories, right? But nevertheless, we have a story that we're looking about, and this is about a family in Chingola, right? We have that story. Maybe the transmission controller can bring it closer. Chingola woman nabbed over stepson murder. A 36-year-old woman of Chingola on the Copper Belt has been arrested for allegedly murdering a 17-year-old stepson. Messi Mwemba, 36, of Munjomba area in Chingola, was picked by police for the murder of a stepson after the lad was alleged to store a digital camera. Like, for real, really, this is so sad and very serious, I think, to bring to the attention of the public. A camera, digital camera, which can cost you maybe $2,000 and maybe $50 for you to buy that camera, and then you just kill your stepson. Let's learn how to survive and also to live with family members, especially step and also our own family, because this is so serious. Because of a camera, and then you kill, then there's no life, because maybe there's no life or there's no love for those that you keep. If you can't manage to keep someone, then let them go, so that you may not find yourself in such cases, right? We have another story which is coming from Kalulushi. Mr. Transmission Controller will bring us the story, right? Lighting kills 2 children in Kalulushi. 2 girls of the same family aged 10 and 12 have been struck to death by lighting, while another is battling for a life at Kalulushi General Hospital, the deceased have been identified as Mercy and Fides Mugala. The incident happened on Friday when the three children were playing in the house while it was raining heavily in Kitwe's Kamakonde township. Right, this is a very sad story, and this brings to my attention to say, most of the time we have to make sure that there are natural disasters that we encounter, and also there are situations that it can be kept by ourselves. And if we look maybe at the roof of that house, maybe there's something else, or maybe we may say it's just a natural thing. Right, we continue with the show as we are looking at the story of Mr. Ari Kalaba and also his resignation from the PF. And the question is that is Mr. Kalaba going to make it, or rather going to drop it for another political party? No, nobody knows. It happened in 2016, where we saw a politician who formed a political party and went into alliance with another political party, and later on dumped his political party and going to another political party and stood and also conquered the seat. And today that is a story of the past. Is politics are we still living in the politics of the belly, or we have moved to the smart politics, as entirely stated on one of the programs on live TV? Right, the big picture still continues, and let's look at another story that is troubling and also moving on with different people. We have the MMD led by Dr. Neves Mumba and the faction party that is led by Mr. Felix Mutati. Are these two going to unite for the 2021 general election, or they are going to contest as MMD faction party and also MMD led by Dr. Neves Mumba as different presidents? Right, we have a caller, and good evening caller, your name and where you calling us from? All right, we've lost the caller due to maybe insufficient of credit that the caller is calling us. But as we are going to conclude the program, we have to look at two different stories, and also looking at the story that we spoke about by Dr. Neves Mumba, and also looking at the nabbed woman. Right, I think it's so serious that women should consider peace in families, especially this woman who was killed, a stepson. This is not a son but a stepson, and it's so so tragic to have such a story in the country. Right, good evening, your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Samuel Saying. I'm calling you from Roma.
From Roma, please give us your contribution.
Yes, I think the resigning of
all right, I would like to advise the callers who are calling us to say, as you are calling, you can please reduce the volume of your post television so that we can get you clearly. And also those who are following us on Facebook, you can see text on the number that is on the screen, or you can inbox and we'll be able to track your message and also read them live. Mr. Sam from Roma, as you're following us, you can reduce the volume of your post television so that you can get us clearly and also have a say on the show. This is the big picture that comes every Tuesday and Thursday, 1930 to 2030. We talk about different issues affecting the community, not only political, but we look at the broad picture of Zambia and Africa at large. Last week, the Congolese president was sworn in by the High Court and also the judges who are in place, and President Joseph Kabila, 45 years old, who accepted to surrender his bottom of power to the civil president, who is Felix Tshisekedi, 42, and Felix Tshisekedi rose from the lead of his father, who was Etienne Tshisekedi, who passed on in 2016 due to an illness, excuse me, and left the party for his son, and the son came to conquer. Right, that's in international stories. And also also will be looking in conclusion at this story that is making headlines across the globe, which is about Nicolas Maduro. And this is about the opposition and the ruling party having different fracases, and this man who declared himself as president of the country, but not Maduro, right? It's so serious about democracy, and everybody is talking about democracy. What is democracy, and why should we have democracy in a country? Democracy is the right of the people, and the power to the people for the people, right? Is to the people for the people, right? It's not for the ruling or for by the people, is to the people, for the people, and by the people, right? That's what we're looking at, and this is the big picture. We are going on a very short commercial break for concluding our show, and those who are following us live on Facebook, you can send your messages on the number that is on the screen, 0972108588, and we'll be able to conclude with you, and you can have a say on the show. We'll be back soon, and enjoy.
Kana bana bali bwanji unko kumunzi. I've been trying to read. Yeah. Kaya uko.
Welcome to the big picture. I'm your host Derek Daka.
So at the moment nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino, but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best, because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. And that is why when you go south the province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjana.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Okay. Government. Yes. So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF in Congole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
politicians.
sovereign
I think politicians
and then that's
are
why I broke it. That's why I broke it. Yes.
Switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.
Yeah. Kaya uko.
What would cause someone to go out of his home setup and have sex with another person?
Morality can break a marriage. Sexual immorality can be a marriage breaker because there's a tendency of the trust disappearing.
The short period that we have to teach young ones before they get married, to teach them on how to live in a marriage. Because there's some people that get married because my friend is married, because all my age mates are married. They go into a marriage for wrong reasons. And then when they get into that marriage, they find, oh, is this what I was looking for?
2 is company. 3 is a crowd, we should not allow the third person to come in. How? By sitting down and talking. Let's discuss our differences. Where did I go wrong? And we learn to say sorry.
I've been trying to reach you, but you only been network. I've been trying to reach you, but you only been network.
All right, welcome back on the big picture. Right, as we are coming to the end of the show, we're looking at their histories that Zambia. We just have to look at them as our history, and also having having such a leader that we had, and we have this story that we may read for you. Right, yesterday, actually on the 26th of January 2019, we marked 39 years since one of Zambia's independence heroes and former Republican Vice President Mr. Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe went to be with the Lord. For me, Mr. Kapwepwe was more than an independence hero. He was an uncle who became mentor. I am privileged to hail from the same historic district of Chinsali. With him growing up, we looked up to him for the role he played as Republican Vice President and the courage he exhibited when he resigned because of his conscience. He resigned because he would not in good faith continue be holding the shortfalls that were happening in the First Republic. Kapwepwe went to a step further and formed a party called the United Progressive Party, and that would further enrich the democratic agenda of the country. Right, that's the birth of UPP. Right, that is being led by Mr. Xavier Chishimba. Right, that's the picture of Mr. Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe. Right, so many kids or children of here in Zambia, especially those who were born in the 90s, did not or had an idea of who is Mr. Simon Mwansa Kapwepwe or the airport in Ndola. So that is the story that is coming from the big picture, as we are the big picture, and also we bring you best stories that you have to read and also understand, and also matters affecting you and affecting your community and also Zambia at large. Right, we have now the picture of Mr. Nicolas Maduro. Right, Mr. Controller, you can give us those pictures. All right, the picture is still coming, and talking about Mr. Maduro as we are moving with the show, and also leaving you in the hands of live talk that is coming after this show. Right, Mr. Maduro was Mr. Maduro had issues, and also still having serious issues to finish with his opponent. And right, those are the issues that we'll be talking about on Thursday when we come on. And looking at the last story that we have is the great Tuku was put to rest in Zimbabwe, not in Harare but in Zimbabwe, in some parts of Zimbabwe, and he was put to rest. And Mr. Tuku, Oliver Mtukuzi, right, left behind a family and also grandchildren, and also he left his record as the greatest African artist who has left behind him 62 albums and under his name and also his record label. Such a great artist living so many albums under his name and his record label. One of the best, Oliver Mtukuzi, right, who even lived in Zambia, to be specific, in Tendere, and left for his country. And also we had even the current Zimbabwean president who lived also in Zambia, in Mumba to be specific, and did some of his studies in Zambia. But nevertheless, that is not our story based on today, but we continue of saying thank you very much to every viewer and every one of you who gave their time to watch the Big Picture Show live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also those on Instagram. We really appreciate. We say thank you very much. God God bless Zambia, God bless Africa. Thank you very much to my transmission controller for this evening, Andrew Chiwele, aka DJ Racy, and also thank you very much to those who have been supporting us, and also the collection of Vicky Malo. Right, I've been your all-star Derek Daka. Catch me tomorrow on the Shining Stars show, and there you'll be catching so many stories that we'll be talking about the gospel industry. Good evening, God bless Zambia, and this is the big picture. Stay tuned to Live TV.
I've been trying to read. Yeah.
Welcome to the big picture. I'm your host, Derek Daka.
So at the moment, nkani ya manifesto ni chizungu chamene chimamveka bwino bwino, but ni chizungu cha boza.
Okay.
Put it aside.
In our manifesto and good governance, I think we are the best, because so far, imagine, we are only 3 months. We are turning 4 months.
So is Zambia. And that is why when you go south the province, when the road hasn't been done.
Ninjala.
Okay.
You know, when some people are hungry, they lose integrity.
Government. Yes. So if you have it wrong in the political party, you certainly will have it wrong in government. If the practices are wrong in a political party, you can expect that when you take power, the practices are wrong.
It is not a PF in Congole per se.
It's for Zambia.
It's for Zambia. It's for you and I. That's why I was talking about the sovereign
politicians. I think politicians
and then that's why I broke it. That's why I broke it. Yes.
Switch.
That's why I broke it down to individuals per capita.